Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and you're very welcome to the second meeting of the Irish Health Research Forum. The forum, as you know, is very much about creating a space for information, discussion and partnership that brings together key stakeholders to influence health research in Ireland. My name is Philip Watt and I'm chairperson of the Medical Research Charities Group, which brings together 36 patient groups and medical charities concerned with health research in Ireland, and we act as a sort of secretariat for the forum. The concept of an Irish Health Research Forum originated from a piece of research undertaken by Professor Bernie Hannigan, as many of you will know, formerly of the University of Ulster, and that was commissioned by the MRCG. The Health Research Landscape in Ireland, What Researchers Say, document was published in May 2014. Professor Hannigan's report was very well received by those involved in health research in Ireland because A, it provides an invaluable snapshot of the health research environment in Ireland at the time, and B, it identified some of the critical challenges that need to be addressed to ensure that health research in Ireland prospers into the future. I'd like to take this opportunity to pass on our congratulations to Professor Hannigan, who was recently appointed Director of Research and Development at Public Health England. Today's forum very much seeks to build on the first forum which took place in November 2014 and which focused on public and patient involvement in research, PPI. As a follow-up to that forum, the IHRF has produced a very accessible guide to PPI, which I'd urge everybody to read, and which is at your tables. The most important concept in the guide is, in my view, is that to view PPI as a spectrum of participation, ranging from information up to partnership, and everything in between, rather than as a narrow or prescriptive definition that may have been very off-putting to researchers in the past. I believe that this guide is not only a contribution to the discussion of PPI in Ireland, but indeed could usefully inform public and patient involvement in research in many countries. Just before we get into the forum, just some brief housekeeping notes before we start. Just to remind you that proceedings are being recorded by a rapporteur, June Shannon, who will be providing a report of the proceedings, which will be available at a later date. The forum will also be videoed and will be available on our website and on our YouTube channel. Just remind you to turn off your mobile phones and devices and set them to mute for the duration of the conference. Please take time to note the nearest fire exits, which may be behind you, as they say on an airplane. Please take part in the forum. We've tried to make today's session as participative as possible. We also have a Twitter account, which is hashtag IHRF 2015, and tweets can be viewed on the screens in the room. We will also be using a Poll Everywhere app throughout proceedings, and those results will also be available. Finally, I just want to thank the steering group and the subgroup of the Irish Health Research Forum, which advised on today's forum, and that includes Professor Eilish McAuliffe, from the School of Nursing and Midwifery in UCD, Doug Beaton from the HSC, Lucy Cusack from Forfas, Rebecca Cramp from the Irish Pharmaceutical Healthcare Association, Avril Kennan from Deborah Ireland, Gail Kenny, and more recently Jacinta Kelly from Temple Street Children's University Hospital, Maria O'Driscoll from the HRB, who's an observer, Julie Naughton from the Irish Research Staff Association, Conor O'Carroll, an independent consultant, Keith O'Neill from Enterprise Ireland, Mary Morrissey from the HSC, and Helen McAvoy from the Institute of Public Health. And also I'd like to give specific thanks to you, Kerry Amin, who's very kindly agreed to step in to chair today's forum, and I suppose just to give thanks to Enda Connolly, the former chairperson of the Irish Health Research Forum, who's recently taken up a new role in the Middle East, and we thank him for his past work. And very finally, thanks to the fantastic work of the staff of the MRCG, who, as I said, acted as a secretariat for today's proceedings. in particular Grace Kapok, who's the Public Affairs and Communications Manager, and Caroline Hanley, the Projects Officer. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Kerry Amin, who's going to chair today's session. Kerry, you're very welcome.